All right, well, hello everybody. How are you? This is Monica Shimonik here. And for those who don't know me, I am a health and mindset coach. And what I do is I work with moms who have been put through the legal system, the family court system, and have been sued for custody and have subsequently lost their children in the divorce court. And I work with these moms, these fabulous, brilliant moms, and I help them release and heal from all the trauma and abuse that they went through in the family courts that led to losing their children. And I help these moms reclaim their identity, reclaim their life, reclaim their health, and fight back as a savvy and powerful advocate in the courts for their children. And so the thing about Moms Unshackled is that I was just telling this to somebody today. A colleague of mine who I'm going to get to in a second. I was just saying today, I was like, it's not that I do health coaching just to like get moms healthy. That's not what I do. That's just a stepping stone to what my real purpose is. And what I want to do, and I know that this is like my life's purpose, and that's why my son was taken from me so that I could carry out this purpose. I don't like that he was taken from me. I hate it. I wish he was never taken. And if I could, reverse all this and get him back, even if it meant throwing away everything else I know, I would do that in a heartbeat, as you know. But that is not what happened. And so I'm living out the most amazing plan B ever. And so this is like, I'm living this fabulous plan B. Plan A is actually being with my son in a meaningful way, which isn't happening. But anyway, it's not just that I am a health coach for moms and I help them get healthy, because I could do that. I could go to a local gym in my town and work with moms there and make them healthy. There's tons of moms in where I live, and I've been a health coach for like seven years now, and I know I could work with moms. Like, that's easy. Moms are very motivated to be healthy, so that's not the point of what I do. That's just a stepping stone to carry out what my real purpose is, which is making these moms stand up and shine and be the person that they're meant to be. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Katie. Hi, Brittany. My purpose is to get these moms to a place where they could stand up and advocate for their children and advocate for policy changes in the family courts, and really just stand up and be the warrior that they are. That's the purpose. But you can't do that. You can't get there if you are living a transactional life. You can't get there if you are so sick and so debilitated with your abuse that you can't even work 40 hours a week. You can't get there if you are so encumbered by your grief and your losses, that you are purposely skipping medical appointments because you're afraid that the doctor's going to tell you that there's something wrong with you, because deep down there's something wrong with you, because you're getting sick because your kids were taken. So I call that female castration. When your kids are taken by the government, that's going to make you sick. It's inevitable. Okay. So that's the purpose of what I do, is to get you better so that you can actually carry out policy change, take legislative action, be a change maker, be a thought leader in this field, because the area of family court reform is severely deficient in healthy advocates. We have a lot of amazing people that they'll hold up their cardboard signs and they'll speak out and yell and all that, and that's amazing. Like, we have a mom that does that. Her name is Cheryl Martone. She's just amazing. So if you need someone to hold up a sign somewhere, call Cheryl Martone. She will walk to California from Connecticut to hold up a sign for you. She's tremendous. But it's not just holding up signs and yelling and screaming and making noise. It's like being a thought leader and like, how do we change these policies? Now, Cheryl is phenomenal in that area as well. She actually runs an organization called U.S. Concerned Parents, and she's just a really nice person. So she's amazing. I like her a lot. By the way, this is called adaptogenic coffee, and it's by a company called Rasa. I want to share this with you. I don't work for the company or anything, but I just love this coffee so much. It's not even coffee. It's like herbs, but it tastes like coffee when you brew it. And one of the things I'm trying to do with my body is I'm trying to see if I could give my adrenals a break, because I have 2 babies that don't sleep through the night, and I have not had a good night's sleep in, I don't know, over 3 years. And I think that that's taking a toll on my body. So that, you know, that kind of ties into what I'm saying about how we get sick when our kids are taken. I became severely spiritually void and emotionally void, and I had no self-worth, no self-esteem when my son was taken. And that manifested in me choosing toxic, that led me to choose toxic patterns. Hi, Amanda. It led me to choose like toxic relationships and toxic behaviors, and like no self-care, no self-love, no self-respect. I just felt like this mother who was groveling with my ex for extra rights and more time with my son, and trying to hold on to that relationship with white knuckles. So that's who I was for like the longest time. But I managed to keep my body healthy. And then I somehow transformed, and I became like this amazingly healed spiritual person, and I'm happy and I'm living an amazing life. And now like my body's not very cooperative. And so I'm constantly trying to figure out how I could heal my body, because now my body's giving up, you know, my body's like, you know, peace out. And I have all this inflammation, I have joint pain, I have fatigue, I have all these issues now in the past couple of years. So I'm working with adaptogenic coffee. I'm eating a raw food diet. I don't eat any dairy, no meat, no eggs, almost no gluten. And I'm still trying to like figure out what's wrong with me. So I'm actually meeting with my naturopath very soon to get some blood work done, and maybe there's a genetic thing happening. But my body decided to be difficult all of a sudden. But that's okay. I would rather have like this amazingly healthy mindset and have a happy life, and just I love my life, you know. I'm just happy. Like, I'm a happy person. I do have bad days where I miss my son a lot, but I feel like a whole person, and that's just priceless. But my hips and my feet and my knees and my hands are always sore and inflamed. So I got to figure out what's going on. So you can't, you know, you sometimes you just can't win, but that's okay. So anyway, so I'm going to give you a few announcements. I took some time off with Moms Unshackled. I haven't done a live stream in like 2 weeks, because I took an entire week off I took 2 weeks off, kind of. I took a week off to do a lot of networking stuff, and I took a week off to do a lot of advocacy work. So last week I participated in 2 public hearings, and I also did a full day workshop with Ron and Sherry Palmer from fixedfamilycourts.com. They drove from Texas to like Indiana to Connecticut, and we did an all-day workshop at the Hartford Library, and that was awesome. So that was super, super fun, but it took a lot of time. And, you know, I have 2 babies, one's nursing full-time, so there's just a lot going on. And so I took quite a bit of time off with Moms Unshackled. I didn't do any discovery sessions or client consults or anything during that time. And then I did a full day public hearing last week on a different day. And then I went to another public hearing last week. So I did 2 public hearings last week. And both of those hearings were related to parental rights. So one of them was to prevent the passage of a bill that substantially messes with your rights as a parent. And certainly I wasn't going to let that happen. So of course I showed up to support the other amazing warriors to prevent the bill from going forward. So hopefully that worked. And so there's something amazing I want to share with you all. So one of my clients approached me last week, and she's at the hearing, the public hearing, and she's like, I don't want to speak. I don't want to testify. I don't want to share my story. I don't want to do this. I'm scared to death. I'm not going to. What did she say? She said, I don't know what to say. I'm not going to speak right. She said, I'm afraid of retaliation. I'm afraid that I'm going to look stupid. Like, she had all these objections, and without even like thinking, I just said, I looked at her, and she was like standing up, and I looked at her. I was sitting down, and I was like, oh, yes, you are. I was like, yes, you are speaking. And she's like, what? And, you know, and long story short, she ended up speaking, and she did a really good job. And so I just pushed her. I was like, you know, and I was like, you have what it takes to speak and you're going to do it. And so she did. Um, I'm not going to give more details because that would give away her identity. But what else? I have spoken to a total of, I think, like 6 parents, I think like 4 moms and 2 dads about speaking last week. And I believe all of them actually spoke. And that was amazing. These were all people that didn't want to speak. They were scared. They were afraid of public speaking. And they did it anyway. And I was so proud of them. And there's nothing better than working with somebody and seeing that they have all this potential, and like, you know, you see it, like I see it for you, but it, you know, you might not see it. You might have this like hazy like image of yourself, and you might not believe that you can actually do something like that. You know, it's can be scary, but they did it, and they did a really good job. So I love that. I love that people have that in them to do something like that when they're feeling like they're not able to. And another coach friend of mine, she always says this thing. Her name is J Mentz, Muenz. She's a fitness coach, so she doesn't work with like trauma like I do, but she has a saying where she says, "Start before you're ready." And I love that saying. Everybody, start before you're ready. If you don't think you're ready to do something, whether it's taking on a weight loss program, hiring a health coach, you know, asking your boss for a raise, applying for a job. I mean, gosh, some of you have been so traumatized by the court system that you aren't even working anymore. You know, it's too much just to even dress up and go to a job interview. You know, what if they ask you about your past, or what if they ask you, you know, about your kids or something like that? Like, what do you tell them? You know, I don't think they're supposed to ask you about your kids, but, you know, they might say like, you know, what grade are your kids in or something. And it's hard to get those questions when you're applying for a job. Those things can be very challenging for a lot of you. And you know, so what I recommend you do when you're faced with a challenge, just do it anyway, you know? So I just see that Joyce Catalano just came on. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Joyce. Joyce is somebody who's, Joyce, I'm going to make a guess, okay? I'm going to make an assumption about you, but it's a good assumption. So Joyce is somebody who plays music for people like us who've been traumatized by the court system. And my impression of Joyce is that she just doesn't care about what people think of her. She's like, I'm a musician and I'm going to play music, and here you go, you know, and this is my gift. I'm going to share my gift with all of you, and I'm just going to put myself out there because this is my purpose, you know. And she's doing it. Now she could say, well, you know, the court was mean to me, and my ex was mean to me, and all these people were mean to me, so I'm just going to not do anything because all these people were mean to me, and if I play my music, then they're just going to laugh at me. So she could do that, but she's choosing not to. She's choosing to put her gifts out there to the world, and she is who she is, and she's not ashamed of that. And I think that's amazing. So a lot of props to Joyce. So I want all of us to be like this, because we have what it takes to be super amazing, because we're already amazing, but we have what it takes to put our amazingness out there in the world. So a couple other announcements. I've been doing a lot of networking, and I am putting together a retreat for moms like us. And this retreat came to me in a dream about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago now. I fell asleep on the couch and I woke up from a dream, and I woke up with this like message, like, hold a retreat. So I'm like, okay, looks like I'm going to be doing a retreat now. So I'm super in love with that idea, and I selected somebody to co-teach the retreat with me, which was pretty awesome, because she like found me randomly that day. She was like, hey, you know, I heard about you and I want to work with you, you know, do you want to work with me? And I'm like, actually, yeah, like 2 hours ago, I had a dream that I was going to do a retreat. Do you want to do a retreat with me? That's literally how the conversation went. Yeah. And I did tell Sarah about it, and now I'm officially announcing it. So the location will either be, I'm thinking like New Hampshire, somewhere in, Joyce, you are amazing. So yes. So for the location of the retreat, it's going to be either like New Hampshire, or I'm thinking like either Texas or Colorado. So Sarah, I hope you could come out that far. And I'm thinking it's gonna be September, like September 23rd, like right around the equinox. That's what I'm getting. And so in order to do this retreat successfully and serve you all and give you what you want, I'm going to be doing like a survey just to find out like what is it you need the most, you know. I don't want to add my personal prejudices into the retreat, and you know, not everybody has the same needs I do, so I'm not going to like be like, well, you know, we're going to do this kind of workshop and that kind of workshop. I want you to tell me what you need. So I'm going to be doing some surveys pretty soon, so just stay tuned. You'll see it. You'll see their surveys. And other announcements. I know I had one other. Oh, here's a big announcement. Another reason why I took so much time off from Moms Unshackled is because I'm working on my appeal. So this is my brief. I wrote this bad boy up, and now I have to go to the appeals court and defend it. So I have to convince a panel of judges that they broke the law, or you know, that the lower court broke the law and prevented me from being a parent to my child to the capacity that we are entitled to under the law. So I'm going to be doing that, and I've been preparing a lot for that. So I didn't do any live streams for 2 weeks. I didn't do anything with any, I postponed discovery sessions and all this other stuff. But now I'm open again, and I have like 6 openings in my calendar for discovery sessions. So I'm going to be putting my link right here. If you want to speak with me, I'm going to be putting my link. Let's see. I just put my link. I have 6 open spots. I believe I have like 6 left on my calendar. So go ahead and put yourself in my calendar if you want to have a discovery session with me, find out if what I do is the right fit for you. And we're going to get started with the actual live stream. What are we here for today? Actually, no, one more announcement. So it's February. Every month I choose a different topic, like a different theme for my live streams. And last month, the theme was New Beginnings for January. So all my live streams were about like new beginnings, and now all my live streams this month will be about love. Okay, L-O-V-E, love. So this can be a very difficult topic for a lot of us, because the people that we love the most in our entire lives are either not with us at all, or barely ever with us, or maybe they are with us quite a bit, but they're suffering in some way because you are not able to legally you know, you don't have the legal rights to your child that you used to have, and therefore you can't really advocate for their best interest and their well-being. So I know that's also frustrating when you get to see your child, but if your child's suffering in school, some horrible judge put some sort of gag order on you to prevent you from advocating for your child's education. That's what my judge did. My judge prevented me from speaking out about my son's education. My son has special needs, and I'm not allowed to be his advocate. I was literally silenced and gag ordered and shut down by the family court to speak up for my own child. So of course I'm appealing that, of course. So that's tough. So even if you're with your child a lot, if your child is having difficulties in school and you can't be their parent, basically, that's going to be very tough for you. You know, maybe your child has a medical condition and you're not allowed to even have a conversation with the doctor because the judge said no, you can't be your child's parent in that regard. By the way, if any of you get orders like that, you need to appeal them. Somebody said, Mark Sargent, he's a lawyer father. In Connecticut, and you know, people like Joyce, if you're on the live stream, I think there's a couple other Connecticut parents on this right now, may have seen Amanda, I think you may have seen this hearing. Mark Sargent made a comment that really resonated with me. He said that parents need to get good at appealing. Okay, I mean, this is a lawyer, this is an attorney father who gave expert accounts of the family court system, and he said that parents need to be good at appealing. And I strongly urge you all to appeal. If you get any orders that say you can't advocate for your child's medical needs, you can't advocate for your child's education, you can't you can't teach your religion to your child, I'm appealing that too. I'm forbidden from teaching my child my religion. Really? So you have to appeal these things. These are very, very easily appealable. The problem is that most parents just simply don't appeal. They just don't. They take the bad orders and they just go with it, because they feel like they don't have the resources. They don't have the educational resources to appeal, or the financial resources. But I have a lot of live streams on appeals, and I think we should all appeal. And there's something internal that shifts inside you when you actually appeal. It's your way of like saying like, F you, I'm going to do this because you are violating my rights and I'm not going to put up with it. So there's something empowering about appealing as well. Okay, whether you win or not, that's really not the point. The point is that you're standing up for yourself, and that's very empowering, in my opinion. Speaking from direct experience. So what else? Okay, so I'm appealing. So there's a lot going on for me, and I have 2 babies that aren't sleeping through the night. So just lots and lots of stuff. But here we are, and I'm so thrilled to be with you all. And so this topic, again, going back to the theme for February, the theme for February is love. And that can be very triggering for some of us because we might not be around our kids a lot. Perhaps we don't have a lot of faith in the opposite sex, or if you're same sex, you might not have a lot of faith in having a romantic partner. And that, and there's some implications in that. You might feel lonely, you might feel isolated. We have sexual needs, you might not be getting those needs met because you might not be with a partner. There's a lot going on with regard to love. Even like romantic love, like you might not be able to find a suitable partner because maybe you haven't found a partner that understands your legal situation. And so there's different ways of loving, right? It's not just like having a boyfriend or a girlfriend or any of that. It's not always about our kids. Like there's different kinds of love. Like we love our parents, we love our grandparents, we love our puppies, kittens, whatever pet you have. There's other ways of expressing love. And so I want you to ask yourself, where can I find love this month? Have you lost complete contact with your child and you don't know how to love your child because you're not with your child ever? How can you love your child properly if you aren't with your child? What can you do? How can you build and cultivate that love? If you work with me, I teach you all these things because you don't have to. A lot of the people I work with don't have contact with their kids. So you have to still be able to flex that muscle of loving your child. And that's difficult to do when you're not with your child. So let's see what kind of comments we have. Joyce, you're funny. Oh my God, Katrina's on my live stream. Holy crap. Guys. Oh my God, Katrina's here. Okay, I love Katrina Elkins. Okay, listen, this is true. I had a dream about 5 months ago. It was September, so yeah, that I was going to be working with Katrina Elkins, and I barely knew her. Like I had like one conversation with her. Like January of 2018, I had a conversation with her, and it was just kind of like, hi, and she's like, hi, and then we just kind of like talked about what we did, and that was it. And then like fast forward 9 months, I had a dream that I was going to work with Katrina. And so like, of course, like the next day I'm like, hi, I had a dream that I was going to be working with you, I'm going to be sending my clients over to you, blah, blah, blah. And so there's so many other bizarre things about Katrina and me, but very good things. I want to share something with you guys. Katrina has this thing right now. Well, it's not right now. This is Katrina. Like this whole thing is Katrina. She has a group called the Elemental Lifestyle, and I just invited one of you guys into her group today. But she has, earlier this year, she did a series of exercises where every day, like, you focus on a new theme. Like, one day it's anger, one day it's like self-love, one day it's expectations. There's all these different themes. So there's like exercises that go with it. And I'm going to tag her group, because those exercises are so huge for moms like us. Like, they're so pertinent and relevant to what we need. And it's really helped me a ton. The elemental. So she's with the elemental lifestyle. I'm going to tag it. Okay, let's see if it's letting me tag. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm tagging her group. So go ahead and request to join. You have to be approved by a moderator. But she has like a series of exercises in her group. If you want to scroll down to like the beginning of January, it was like a 21-day challenge. And for moms like us who've suffered so much, it's almost like her exercises kind of get you like at a cellular level. And when you work with me, you also work with Katrina. Okay, you get a session with Katrina as a bonus, and that's not, that special is not going anywhere. So that was the other announcement. A few minutes ago I said I had another announcement and I couldn't remember what it was. So you definitely want to check her out. So we're going to go back to love. Okay, so what do you so think about a way where you could express love somewhere. And now, so that's the first part of your challenge. Okay, and a lot of us, like, we suppress that because we're not with our kids. So it's like, it's kind of scary to love again. It's because you've literally had your heart broken. Your child was taken away from you. So that feels like a heartbreak times 150. Okay, when that happens. And so it can be scary to exercise and flex that muscle again. So I want you to, so that's the first part of your challenge, is think about what do you love, and think about something that you could love in your life. It could be a grandparent, it could be a parent, and how can you express that love for that person differently than what you're used to. So for example, let's say you have a significant other in your life, and your way of expressing love to that person is to do things for them, wash dishes for them so that they can sleep longer, or I don't know, what do we do? What do women do for men? What do I do for my husband? I make him coffee in the morning. I'm trying to think of what I do. I compliment my husband all the time. I'm always like, oh babe, you're so smart, you're so handsome. I'm always doing that, right? Like, I compliment the crap out of him. So think about, like, that's really easy for a lot of us, is just to love a certain way. Can you love somebody in your life differently than what you're used to? Can you use touch instead of your compliments? Can you spend more time with that person? Whether it's like a grandparent or a pet or something that you love, somebody that you love. Can you love that person differently? So I'll tell you what I've decided to do this month. So I've decided that I love my clients. I love y'all. I love all of you. I love my business. I love all the moms I work with. I love all of you. Okay. Now, the way I have been expressing my love for my clients is to always be there for them. Like, I am like this loyal, waking up at 3 a.m. with your emergency kind of, Katrina's laughing probably, waking up at 3 a.m. with your emergency kind of love. Like, that's always been me. Okay, so that's what I do. Now, how can I love my clients differently? Okay, and it's usually more challenging than what you're used to. It's often like a little uncomfortable, So what I decided to do this month was to love my clients differently than the way I'm used to loving them, and that way is to hold them accountable and push them, and be a little bit more tough with my clients. And that's something that does not come easily to me at all. That's why when that mom said, I'm afraid to testify and I'm not going to do it, and I was like, oh yes you are. That's not something I would ever say. Like, I would never just push somebody to do something like that. I've always been like, well, I don't really want to push them. I want to give them space. I want them to figure it out. I'm just going to give suggestions and let them do it. But this This time I'm being more pushy, more like holding them accountable, like calling them out on some of their excuses. And that's very challenging to me, but I've decided to do it anyway. And it's been awesome, and I know that they appreciate it. And I just got off the phone with a client like a couple days ago where she was like repeating the same things over and over again that weren't serving her. And I said something like, well, you're not going to get what you want until you figure this out. Like, it's imperative that you figure this out so that you can get the good things in life that you deserve. And it was kind of like a different delivery that she wasn't used to. And that might have been a little bit, she might have been a little surprised to hear that, but it felt good for me to like love my clients differently in that way. So I've been more forthright with my clients, and that has been really challenging for me, but it's also been really great. So I want you to like challenge yourself to do something different. And someone said something cool. So Patricia, I got to meet Patricia last week, and it was awesome. And unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to you that long. But so Patricia, you said actively be present in the moment and actively listening. So is that a way of loving somebody that isn't like your first go-to? Like, is that kind of like a newer thing that you could implement, or is that something that you normally do? So I'm just curious of what that meant. Let's see. So yeah, so Katrina is saying touch, the power of touch. So Katrina, like, is that your primary way of loving somebody, is like, rubbing their shoulder, rubbing their feet, kissing your kids goodnight? Or is that like a new thing that you could do more of? And one of my favorite books of all time is called The 5 Love Languages, and that's just such a great book. So definitely take a look at that. And so that's my theme for the month of February. So all my other live streams this month are going to be about that. So now we're going to go into like the actual purpose of this live stream, which is, are you living a purposeful life, or are you living a transactional life? And so this kind of ties into like how I've been loving my clients differently, because I've been kind of pushing them into like this way of thinking where are you living your life with purpose, or are you just kind of like going with the flow and waking up, going to work, feeding the dog, coming home, taking a shower, going to sleep, wake up day in and day out, where every day just, it's like that movie Groundhog Day, where you're just kind of doing the same thing every day and you're just waiting for your life to change for you, or are you actually waking up and saying, I really want to implement this new thing. I really want to change this thing. And all of you, if you're all watching, most likely you are watching me because you lost your kids in the court system, and that's very dissatisfying to you, right? Like, you're just like, you might be pissed off, you might be depressed, you might feel hopeless, you might feel worthless, you might feel useless. What did I go through? I went through all those emotions. You might be just really grief-stricken. You might feel like you're going through a death. And it's so hard to be like, oh, let me build this amazing plan B around that. That's what I did, but it took me like 9 years to do that, like an insane amount of time. So let me ask you something. Have you said to yourself, when our tax return comes in, I'll do this. When we get the tires fixed, I'll drive to visit my mom. Like, we do that. We always wait for other outside things to get better before we take action and do purposeful stuff, like visiting your parents if that's important to you, or taking the college course that you've always wanted to take, or asking your boss for a raise, or filing a motion with the court to get your kids back, and then appealing if they say no, that kind of thing. So it's scary to put yourself out there, and it's easy to sit around and wait for the other things in the background to fix itself so that you can take action. But it's really no benefit to you to wait for the other people to do things before you can do things. So kind of going back to that quote where Jay Mentz said, start before you're ready. And I really mean that. Like, this retreat I'm planning, I don't know anything about this retreat, but I've already committed to doing it because if I waited until I had the curriculum and the workshops and this and that, and then I decided I was going to do it, you know, it doesn't really work that way. You have to kind of make the decision first and then fill in the pieces. So, and that's not easy to do. It took me many years to do that, especially around like my healing with the court system and losing my son. I literally waited and waited and waited. I waited for the right attorney. I waited for the judge to retire. I waited for the judge to rotate out. I waited until, I mean, I waited forever. I waited till I got married. You know, I was like, I'm not going to go back to court until I get married. And I didn't even know who my husband was at that time. So it, you know, we can't keep doing that. We can't keep waiting for things to happen in order for us to be purposeful with our lives. We can't continue to be transactional, because being transactional really does like feed into like the depression and the anxiety and the feelings of not having any control of your life. And so that's just something I want you to think about. And if you want to have a conversation about all this stuff, like all these 8,000 things I threw at you tonight, I put my link already in the comments. So go ahead and put yourself in my calendar. I have at least 6 spots open this week. I opened up my schedule to make up for last week, and I'm going to be taking a look at these comments because I have such an awesome crowd tonight. Let's see. So Joyce, one thing you can do is file a motion with the court to get your rights back to advocate for your son's education. I don't know how old your son is. I don't recall, but you can do that. And if you want, you can, let's see how my appeal goes, and you could use my arguments. If I prevail in my appeal, you could use my arguments as precedent if you have a Connecticut case. So hopefully that works. Let's see here. So Joyce said, that's a big deal, finding someone that actually understands the racket you've been through. Yes, that's what I did. I purposely found my husband in a public hearing testifying, and I decided to go marry him. You know, if you want to find a partner, go to the family courts, you know, and watch cases. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's like Match.com family court style, you know. I see no problem in that, and you're finding someone who's like-minded. So let's see here. Katrina, yeah, so I'm going to be talking, I'm going to be doing like an interview with Katrina really soon, so I'll make sure to tag you all and put it on my page. Let's see here. Okay, so Katrina's doing a 5-day challenge on Valentine's. That's awesome. And Patricia, that's a great thing that you just said. Another way, gosh, I can't believe I left this out. Another way you could express love is through your higher source, you know, your God, your whatever source you connect with. That's another amazing way to, you know, create and cultivate love in your life, is to, when all else fails, you always have your faith, you know. Okay. Yeah, so Katrina's talking about loving herself even though she's suffering a loss. She also understands loss like all of us do, because she's losing a pregnancy. She lost a pregnancy recently, which, you know, obviously that's really, really painful. Let's see. So thank you so much for your comments, Patricia. You have a great attitude and great insights here. And so, let's see. Yeah, Mike, I'm so glad you came on. I hope you watch our public hearing and submit some testimony to Milagros. It's Milagros Acosta. I hope you submit testimony to her, because you know, they need to hear from parents like us to change these laws. So I hope that you do that, Mike. And thank you for coming on to the live stream. Stimulus overload, yes. Good. So being in the moment is a great thing to implement, Patricia. Yeah. So thank you all so much for coming on and for being a part of this community. And you know, I was telling somebody else this, the girl I'm thinking about running the retreat with. I said to her, you know, there's no template out there for healing for moms like us, because there's no there's no template. We don't know how to do this. So we're just kind of like feeling our way through the dark. And you just have to just try a million different things to get there. And I'm not like, I'm healed, but I'm not that much further than most of you are. You know, my body has been inflamed and sore, and I know that that's from the grief that I've endured not having my son for so long. And you know, it's a work in progress. You just have to try on a million different things. So thank you so much for coming on. I love you all. And yes, Mike, dads too. I am absolutely extremely pro father, and I don't care what anybody says. Mom, you know, dads and moms are equally as important. So thank you for pointing that out. Absolutely. And we need, you know, dads need a community too. You know, they're just as important. So thank you so much, and we will see you all very soon. Have a good night.